So do you believe the price of oil and gas will be lower before the midterm elections?
I hope so. I mean, I think so. It could be. It could be or the same or maybe a little bit higher, but it should be around the same. I think this won't be that much longer.
All right. That was Maria Bartiromo, President Trump, of course. Let's bring in Katie Miller, host of the Katie Miller podcast, former Trump official, dear friend. Katie, thank you for coming on set, number one. God bless, number two. You're expecting again. Number three, who's going to win the midterms?
President Trump and the Republicans are going to win the midterms. I think when the fog of war dissipates, what you will see is President Trump has laid out a very clear vision for our country. He's completed all 20 of his platform positions that he ran on in July 2024 at the convention. And when you have results like that and you compare that to the Democrat Party that you see imploding before our very eyes today, whether that be with Eric Swalwell, Ro Khanna, you see that across the Democrat leadership is that they don't have a vision. They don't have a plan. All they have, quite frankly, is Trump derangement syndrome and those trying to copy what President Trump is doing because they've seen his success time and time again. And when you see, again, this fog of war dissipate, what you will see is our economy roaring and roaring again. And you're going to see the stock market higher than ever, historic gains, whether that be historic lows on immigration, historic highs in the stock market, record numbers of crime defeated across our country.
The war's going to be, I want to come back to the war for a second, because it's a contrary view. And of course, Democrats hate the war because they hate Trump. I mean, we had Liz Peek quoting Thomas Friedman in the New York Times. The mission might be okay, but he hates Trump. So that's not the point. If the war does well, and I believe it's almost over now, Trump's played it great, it's going to be a plus. It's an unheralded, unexpected plus. And the economy is going to roar back.
Iran has waged a war on our country for 45 years.
And people hate them. They hate Iran.
And they've done nothing but chant death to America.
Right.
President Trump has stood up and said, I'm going to defend America, whether we're here at home or overseas. We're not going to need to export American values as previous presidents have done. But when you say that we are a strong global superpower, you have to prove it. And for the first time, President Trump has proven that America is a superpower, whether that's the seizure of Maduro or the killing of Khomeini overseas. What you're seeing is a president who stands up and keeps and maintains his word. And I think that the American people are going to wake up on Election Day and say, I want somebody like that who fights for me as much as President Trump has fought not only endless witch hunts, but has fought for them domestically and abroad.
So tomorrow's tax day. I think of it as tax cut day because of one big, beautiful bill. Mr. Trump's going to be out and about campaigning on tax cuts. I would say tax cuts in the economy, really important, and it needs marketing. It needs marketing very much. In fact, I had John Thune on, Senator Thune. I want a second one big, beautiful bill that will have some more tax cuts in it. But the economy has got to be an important point here.
We're seeing historic gains in the stock market, right? President Trump has truly delivered for the American people.
Even with the war.
Even with the war. What you're seeing, though, is just what we saw yesterday when President Trump had McDonald's delivered via DoorDash, right? Is this woman from Nevada who said, I'm getting money back because of no tax on tips. And the president on the campaign trail said, that's what I'm going to do. And by golly, he did it. Don't you want a president who says one thing and actually does it? How refreshing is that, Larry? And that's what our economy is going to do. President Trump said he was going to deliver gains for women, small business owners, and those struggling. And that's what President Trump has done, whether that's the record low of the price of eggs. Remember when he came into office, eggs were soaring and you couldn't buy eggs. Now I'm seeing record lows at the grocery store when I buy eggs for my kids.
Brookie Rollins' greatest achievement, she loves it. Egg prices are down something like 90% from inauguration. I don't understand what the Democrats have except hate Trump, as you said before. I don't know what they have. And, you know, look at these polls. The Republicans are low in the polls, but the Democrats are even lower in the polls because they don't have anything to talk about.
Well, you look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who couldn't tell you where Venezuela was on a map, who can't tell you about geopolitical crises, whether that be in China or Iran. And when you can't talk about these world powers and issues facing our country, from a global perspective, that's something that's very scary, that I don't want that type of person and that type of party leading my country forward. And that's not to say that their policies on the economy are not great either. They're going to leave us in ruin. They're also importing the world. They're refusing to support the Save America Act.
Open borders.
I think it's common sense to want your driver's license to vote.
Right.
I mean, if not, these are the people who are electing them. They're relying on illegal aliens for their votes. And Americans, overwhelmingly, over 80%, say we want voter ID.
20 seconds. Bring back Elon Musk. Waste, fraud, and abuse is hot now. Bring back Elon Musk. Doge, too.
I think Doge had a really great time in American history. I'm glad and proud of all of the work that Doge has done.
And you did it, too.
Thanks, Larry.
Katie Miller, the best of the best. We appreciate it very much. You look great. God bless. Folks, I'll be right back.